Welcome back. We, of course, had earlier the people from representation from the Welcome Resource Center that deal with persons living with mental illness. But we're here in this segment with Ms. Ann Gordon of the National Climate Change Office in Belize. Now, every time when you hear climate change, people always think about the 5Cs and that regional initiative. But locally, there's work being done to address the impacts of climate change on Belize. Ms. Ann, as coordinator, talk to us about some of the things that is being done because we know that we're seeing the effects of climate change here.
First of all, I want to thank you for hosting this segment for us. The National Climate Change Office is in the Ministry of Agriculture, Forestry, Fisheries, the Environment and Sustainable Development. It's located on number 2 Slim Lane on Forest Drive in Belmopan. And what we do is we coordinate climate change activities on behalf of the government of Belize. We work closely with the Caribbean Community Climate Change Center when it comes to implementation of actions on climate change in Belize. We have a National Climate Change Policy Strategy and Action Plan for the country that will be a blueprint for everybody to act. It's innovative, it's relevant for today, and we will have a launch shortly of that policy strategy and action plan. We also, right now, we are embarking on launching a National Climate Change Youth Video Competition. This competition is linked to the global youth video competition that is being launched, that was launched in May by the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. And that there will be 2 winners, and the 2 winners will then go to Marrakesh, Morocco in November from the 7th to the 18th of November to participate in the climate change conference, more working along with the United Nations Framework Convention newsroom, where they will be participating in making videos and posting on social media. So this competition here is linked to that. And it's an opportunity for the young people between ages 18 to 30 to showcase what climate actions they are participating in to address climate change. It's also an opportunity for them to inspire other youths to act, to also participate in climate change activities. So for us, this is the first, and like I said, the winners, then we will submit their videos to the global youth competition, video competition.
Ms. Gordon, from a layman's perspective, we hear about climate change. To an extent, we see the effects of climate change. Do you believe that it is being taken seriously as an issue that both young and old need to be aware of in order to take the necessary actions?
Yeah, I believe that currently we need to raise more awareness when it comes to climate change. We need to raise awareness among the public from the grassroots level and to at the leadership level on the impacts of climate change on Belize. What is climate change? What makes us vulnerable to climate change? And how we can address or alleviate our vulnerability and risk to climate change. So there is actions that are being done, but I think we need to do more. And so this is one of the ways we can get other people involved, especially young people. They are the future leaders of tomorrow, and they are innovative, and I know they have some solutions that they can showcase, or they can tell us what they're doing nationally, and from there we can put that out there internationally to show what our youths are doing here.
Now, down south, I believe last year we started to see erosion taking place. I think in some parts of the islands we are also seeing where land mass is being washed away. Now, I know that scientists have said that environmentalists have said that it's related to climate change, and can you talk on that? What we're doing to address that issue in terms of erosion, loss of landmass?
Indeed, one of the effects of climate change would be sea level rise, which translates to loss of land through erosion. And we could have some measures that can be put in place to address those, especially the planting of, you could have natural defense, like the planting of those palmetto leaves to stem or to arrest the erosion problem. But maybe that is a simplistic way of addressing that problem. You would need to probably do some engineering when it comes to that, some engineering skills or engineering information that would assist us in stemming or reducing or alleviating the erosion. So that is just one way. Some measures also is the seawall. We have a seawall, but some countries or some organizations are not so keen on seawall, because they believe also that the seawalls can increase the erosion problem because of the backwash of the waves. So we need some engineering also to look at that, so that we could address it properly, not just to put a band-aid, but to address that problem properly.
To go back a bit, you were mentioning the need for creating an awareness of what climate change is and the impacts of climate change. That is from an organizational or a social aspect. In terms of academics, are you guys, as part of a wider ministry, working to have an inclusion of climate change and its impact in the curriculum, for instance, in science or other environmental subjects that would be able to address this particular issue?
We have started work on the educational aspect of climate change, because we know we need to build capacity within the country. And so we need to start from the primary school level. And what we had done about 2 years ago, we started a process where we worked along with the Ministry of Education, where we trained over 100 teachers on climate change, so that they can go into the classroom to teach students on climate change. What is climate change? What can you expect? How can you undertake actions to stem climate change? What are the measures that can be taken to reduce the vulnerability, to reduce risks? And the measures that we have in place, or we have come up with, are based on facts, evidence, studies that we have done. And so we have done studies in how climate change would impact our water sector, how climate change would impact the agriculture sector, how climate change would impact fisheries, the coastal zone. So we look at our, about 5 or 6 economic sectors, because after all, climate change will affect our livelihood and our way of life. So those are some of the areas that we have looked at when it comes to climate change. But back to the National Climate Change video competition. We have a Facebook page that the interested entrants or participants can go to. And later on in the program, I can give them the Facebook information that they can see the official rules, because we would really want the youths to participate in this competition. We know that they are doing something out there. The activities can be, there are a range of activities that they can participate in, or they might be participating in. For example, raising awareness in their community. They can inspire other youths to do the same. For example, conservation of our natural resources, of our nature, conservation of water, our forests, our mangrove, because these ecosystems or these natural resources are very important for us in that they assist us in also reducing the impacts of climate change. For example, our forests, they have watershed protection. They give us watershed protection. The mangrove, fish spawn in mangroves. They also act as the first defense tool from flooding and from wave action. Perhaps some environmental education they are participating in. You can promote renewable energy, energy efficiency, and also some actions such as mitigation action, anything that will assist you in reducing greenhouse gas emissions, projects or activities that will assist you in reducing the vulnerability to the adverse impacts of climate change. So there are a wide range of angles that they can take when they are doing their video. And the video should be no more than 3 minutes. The video should the details in the video should tell you the reason why this climate action was selected. It should also indicate to us what activities were involved, also the successes and from that experience, the location where that activity was done, and also how other young people with similar issues can replicate the activity. So those are some of the things that we would want to see in the video.
So high school?
From 18 to 30.
Okay. That being said, is this limited to amateur work, professional work?
The judging will be based on content in terms of this video should show clearness, effectiveness in documenting your story. It should be innovative. You telling the story in a innovative way.
Dynamic.
Yes. The audience that you are targeting, is it wide and diverse? So those are some of the things. Is it stimulating new thought and new action? And also, it should have some technical expertise when it comes to the the video and also the audio. The script should be
It is indeed a challenge.
Yeah,
it is a
exactly.
Yes.
It needs to be more. It
No,
will have
but
to be-
remember, we are also participated internationally
That's right. So
because
it has to be competitive.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. You know, the script has to be effective. You know, so we have to raise it a notch
Raise the
higher.
bar.
Because we will be competing, the 3 top winners will be competing. That will be the videos that will be submitted to the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change from Belize. So they have an opportunity also to go to Marrakesh, Morocco, to participate in the United Nations Framework Convention Climate Change Newsroom as new as youth, you know.
Can I venture to say this without discouraging any of the participants? I mean, at the end of the day, guys, we need you to compete and represent Belize. But that seems like a task for an entire team of people to get a script together, to get video, audio, the editing, the direction. It seems as though it's very much a challenge for anyone who decides to take on this particular competition.
I think the challenge will be great for them.
Mm-hmm.
I think sometimes a challenge shows us how resilient, how innovative we can be.
Yeah.
And so I am challenging the youths to take up the challenge, to tell us your story, to tell us what you are doing in your community to address climate change. And that is our message to them.
Now, I noticed that the deadline is July 22nd. That means they only have, what, 2 weeks left?
Well, we launched this about 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
What we are trying to do is to use this platform to raise awareness on the competition also. We had sent this out to the local press 2 weeks ago, and we will have prizes. The prizes range from cash, gift certificate, tours at Cave Branch, tours with packs. So we have prizes for them as an incentive for them to participate. And also the prizes from the Global Youth Video Competition, all expenses will be paid for: accommodation, food, ticket.
So it's definitely something that people should want to get into.
Yes, it's worth the while for them to try.
For any young person.
Yes, the exposure will be good for them. The experience will be good for them,
you find as well that that particular demographic that you're targeting, the 18 to 30 demographic, you find that those are oftentimes some of the bright minds in terms of coming up with new concepts that they can bring to life. So
exactly. And I think they can do they can work as one person, or they can work together as a team.
Yeah. You have all those environmental students out there that they know they're experiencing, they're going through the process of knowing what is good and what climate change has been doing to the environment. So they will be the ones that they're looking at.
Let them tell us what they're doing.
Students, UB, Gale, and you're the ones that they're targeting. It's you that they want to bring out those videos, right? So, but yeah, it would target them.
Yes.
They who have that experience and is seeing what's happening. Right?
Yes, and we want to know what they're doing. So tell us your story.
Now, I want to just there's a question that has been bothering me, or an issue that has been bothering me in terms of, I know that from the Caribbean in general, the emissions, the contributions that we of CFCs that we put into the atmosphere. It's nothing big. I think it was only 1 or 3% for the entire Caribbean. But it's not that I want to focus on. I want to focus upon in terms of Belize. I know we're not industrialized like that, but those industries there, like the sugar industry and all those that create all these gases that are released into the atmosphere, how do we deal with those in terms of the effects that they do to the climate that, in the end adds to the bigger issue?
First of all, you're right that our contribution to the global greenhouse gas emission is minuscule. It's less than 0.01%. Yeah. That's number one. But if you look at mitigation, that is reducing greenhouse gas emissions, one of the things that we promote is the benefit of reducing your emission. You have cleaner air, number one. Number two, I believe that when it comes to energy, because the fossil fuel is what we use for energy. When it comes to energy and you practice energy efficiency, you have more money in your pocket. But also, if you transform to renewable energy sources, maybe the upfront cost is high. However, in the long term, you will see the benefits both financially as well as you're also contributing to reducing the emissions, the greenhouse gas emissions or your carbon footprint. Yeah. So there are benefits for any industry to, or even household. When you have on your lights and leave on your lights, when you drive your vehicle, all of us are responsible, have a responsibility to the environment. And all of us can play a role, not only the industry, but all of us can play a role.
There is a sort of symbiosis, if I may, between inhabitants, lack of a better word here, and the environment. When you have people who live in a specific area, it's almost as if though their environment reacts to them as much as they react to their environment, depending on how well they're able to either conserve water and other resources within that environment. I believe that is part of the responsibility that you're speaking to, correct?
Yeah, the responsibility, like I said, is all of us are responsible. However, some of us will be able to, our adaptive capacity is greater than others. For example, you have vulnerable groups within our society. People that have the elderly, the poor, probably disabled, people with disability. Those are vulnerable groups. And so the onus would be left on us to see how we can also address their issue and their concerns when we address climate change nationally.
Ms. Ann, I have one last question. In terms of this issue that we're seeing with vehicles that emit these gases, do you guys work along with maybe the traffic department in terms of these vehicles that are driving around with this black smoke coming out of it? Man, it adds, that is also one of the issues, and I, if I'm not mistaken, I believe it's something that is being discussed at the ministry level, the Department of Environment, in how you guys can deal with this.
the transportation is a problem worldwide. And I think the government of Belize is embarking on a national transportation plan. And I think that will address some of the concerns that we have when it comes to transportation, how we reduce the emissions, as well as how we adapt in terms of the infrastructure to climate change.
Now, of course, guys, thanks so much, Ms. Ann. Now, it's all about the competition, the video competition.
Yes.
Please, you can go on their Facebook page at facebook.com/Belize Climate Change, and you can find all the information, the requirements, the rules for your video. Remember, it's 3 minutes, persons between the ages of 18 and 30. An innovative idea on how you would address climate change, the effects that it's doing to your environment, and what you would do to change it. It's a 3-minute video that you need to create. Very professional, because remember, you want to compete and win internationally. That's what we want, right? The top 3 persons get cash as well as prizes. And of course, you get that opportunity to represent Belize in Morocco in November of this year. So the deadline is July 22nd. Be sure, no, NRM students, remember, you are the ones that they're targeting. You have that experience being out there in the environment and knowing the effects that it's having, that climate change is having on the environment. So you would be the ideal persons. Now, that doesn't limit it to them only, but please, guys, take advantage of it. It's a youth video competition that the Climate Change Center is doing, the local Climate Change Center is doing. You can compete. Is that it, Ms.
Yes.
More
yes,
or less, right?
Very much. So, thanks very much for having me.
Thank you, too, for being here with us. Guys, we're going to take our final break, and when we come back, we'll have a wrap-up of the show today. We'll be right back.